we were going to start out tonight. These dudes got it right. So it was when the angel. Oh, where's 15? Sorry. Luke chapter 2:15. Luke chapter 2:15. So it was when the angels had gone. Let us come to pass, which the Lord has made known to us. And they came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in the manger. Now when they had seen him, they made widely known the things which were told them concerning this child. And all those who heard it marveled at those things which were told by the shepherds. Once again, we've been talking in Sunday school about Exodus, right? Moses, man, if I had more candy, I'd give it to you. Moses, Ezra, what happened? Right? So once again, there's a bunch of shepherds sitting around. Anyway, all coming. The angel man shows up. Rejoice! Rejoice! Emmanuel! They just pop through. They're standing there. Big bright light, and all of a sudden, a host of angels are. So if you have a host, you got that kind of demon. Come out, demon! So, the whole time, there's a bunch of them. There's one thing that goes, behold, there's a precious thing that only you need to be born in Bethlehem. What are they doing? You need to go take out that you need to take it. And the shepherd goes, boom! Let's go fast. How would you spell that two bells coming together? So, but I think you go to the Bethlehem and look at the Christ child that they will see so much that they will. Dude! Angels! Let's go check it out. Let's go see what they're talking about. So they go to the manger. Okay. Hello? I can't believe it. The angels didn't lie. There was a baby there. And there he was. And they seen it, and they had to worship. They had to go, fall down on your face. I mean, it is God. He's laying in the manger. He's got a little halo thing around him, and he's glowing. And you look at him and you go, oh, that's God. Right? No, he probably had poop on him. It stunk really bad. He's laying in a little crate thing, and it's not a manger like a barn. It's a manger like a cave, okay? Because they back then they didn't. Oh, well, we need to build a barn, and all of their Mennonite buddies came and helped them build a barn. That's not how it worked. Okay, not how it worked. It was a cave. They were inside a cave. That's where they kept animals, and they had a little fence thing or a rock or a bunch of rocks or something like that. Okay, so they're in there and they're worshiping. And he was just like everybody else. We talked about that Jesus was fully God and fully man. So he's probably crying or whatever. He's just born. He's wrapped up real tight. But he's God. So they went and they told everybody about it. Because why? Why did they run and tell everybody about what just happened?
Because they waited for a long time.
They waited for a long time. They'd been given a gift. Now, what they could have done was taken it, said, awesome, and went back home and not told anybody, and kept the gift that they had been given to themselves. That's not what disciples of Christ do. Disciples of Christ take what they have been given and they go give it to somebody else. And that's what they did. Somebody read that to me. That part down there when they said when the angels seen the baby and when they seen the baby. Somebody read it. Anybody have the Bible?
Now when they had seen him, they made widely known the thing which was told to them concerning this child.
They made widely known. In other words, they didn't go say, hey, guess what happened? Jesus was born enough to say it. I gotta go home. Widely known. That means that they're sitting at the restaurant. Hey man, guess what I just seen? Anybody in here remember when you got saved? Did you go to school and go, Or did you go, I got to leave yesterday? So you run into class and go, hey, guess what happened, Mr. Such and Such? I got to say, guess what happened, Mr. Such and Such? I got to say, guess what happened, Mrs. Such and Such? I got to say, guess what happened, Mrs. Bertha? But I mean, Mrs. Teacher, I love you because I just got to say your thing. I ask forgiveness. You told everybody, right? There's this one dude that got saved. His name was Timmy Devine. He came to a Grace Baptist Church. Dude got saved, and listen, when he got saved, I mean, he got saved. It could have been two of him. There was enough for him to get saved twice. And he was telling, he walked out the church. Hey, man, I just got saved. Go to the restaurant. We're sitting in Ponderosa. I'm all for people being fired up. I'm like, that's awesome. We're in Ponderosa. He told he just walked up here. Hey, I got saved today, man. I just got saved. I met Jesus today. That's awesome. Do you know Jesus? Yeah. Remember that? Anybody ever get on fire like that for God? Or was you just like, that's awesome. I feel so good. Amen. Praise the Lord. I'm going to go home and eat a sandwich. Amen. 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 Turn around 14 times. Say it just like that. So, you can keep it to yourself because when you first got saved, there was a fire that burned in you. You realized, oh my gosh, I've been saved. That man, I got to tell everybody. So we learn, don't we? We become learned, taught Christians. And if you were with some of your friends in here today, and you were to get up from a table and go to the table and say, hey, do you know Jesus? Your friends would be like, check, please. Because they're more concerned with their kingdom than they are whether somebody dies and goes to hell. If everybody lives that way, by the way, it could be your family that dies and goes to hell. Also, right? When you first got saved, I heard about Jesus coming, Jesus coming. And I love the part about reading the Bible. He said, God comes to you and said, you're not going to die until you see this victory. You're not going to die until you see the salvation. And he goes in and sees Jesus, and he says, you can tell me now. He read. People are excited about Jesus. I'm excited about Jesus, man. There's a house, and I put it on my Facebook page, about this, but I'm about it's not that's funny. Has morning sickness that is so bad that if you don't take really good care of yourself, you have to get IVs and stuff. It's actually some kind of thing that happens when women get pregnant. Some women have a really bad, and they throw up and stuff so much, or so nauseous that they can't eat at all. And so then they start losing fluid and stuff and dehydrating, which is really bad for the baby. Right? It's all over the news. It's all over NBC, CBS, CNN, all the liberal news coverages. It's on Fox. It's to the right news and it's on the left news. It's funny, isn't it? How it's a baby and not a clump of cells all of a sudden. I mean, this is the same people in the news that support abortion and things like that because, after all, it's just a clump of cells. But today, or yesterday, the baby's in danger. Well, no, not really, because it's just a clump of cells, right? Just a clump of cells. So the baby's not in danger because, and I put on my Facebook thing, oh wait, the difference between a clump of cells and a baby is one is wanted and one is not. See, that's the type of world we live in. And you know why we live in that type of world? Because Christians, forever now, have had an obedience problem. They don't obey God, which means they don't love God, which means we can't lead nobody to somebody that we don't love. I'm going to talk about your personal life. Okay? Now, it's easy for me to tell Sabrina, you need to love your mom. It's easy for me to say, I love my mom. But what if Sabrina knew that I hated my mom? If Sabrina knew that I hated my mom, I could not stand the ground she walked on, and if you called me Carolyn, I would punch you in your face. Okay? But then I turn around and say, Sabrina, you need to love your mom. That's your mom. You need to love on her and care for her. Are you going to hear what I got to say? Bryce, you want to go on my diet plan? Would you like to go on my diet plan? I got it down, baby. I'm a dietitian. We talked about this too. We talked about this before. I'm a dietitian. Who wants to go on my plan? Hannah, you're worried about yours. I know you do. You and Becky. You want to go on my diet plan? Would you like to do my diet plan? Why? Because apparently it's not working! Because what I say, what I'm trying to get you to do is something that I'm not doing. So when you go and try to tell somebody about Jesus, or you say you go to church, or you say that you're a part of this, if you have an obedience problem, you have a love problem, and they know that you don't love Jesus because your life doesn't show that you love Him, you're not using your gifts for Him, why would they ever want to love somebody you don't love? How about passing around boyfriends? Why'd y'all break up? Well, he slept with such and such and such and such. Y'all would make a great couple. What's the chances? What's the chances? See, we have to be obedient. That's what made God, that's what made Jesus who He was and how He was. He talked to the Father. He prayed. He read His Word. He wanted to be a sponge for it. Wanted to learn everything that he could learn. He wanted to hear His voice. And believe it or not, God still speaks. Oh, another Southern gospel song I used to sing. God still speaks. I know His voice. Sweetest sounds ever heard by mortal ear. And to think that God, by His own choice, would speak to me makes me rejoice. He still speaks. I know His voice. Do you? Because if you're disobedient and you don't love Him, you can't hear Him. The son that wanted all the money from his dad and cut out when he was away in the other country, in the pig pen, in the muck, in the mire, laying in his sin, he couldn't hear the Father. But the Father was standing at the road waiting for him to come back. And probably standing going, oh son, please come back. Please come back today. But the son couldn't hear him because he was in his disobedience. The shepherds were gone to give out to everybody what they had been given. Out of obedience, out of love. Matthew. Three more dudes that are obedient, according to all our nativity scenes. Matthew chapter 2, verse 9, or 9 through 12. No, 9 through 11, sorry. 9 through 11. Matthew 2, 9 through 11. When they heard the king, they departed, and behold, talking about the wise men, the star which they had seen in the east went before them, till it came and stood over the young child, to where the young child was. Good grief. Until it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. And when they had come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented gifts to him, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. when you give your gifts away, who are you really giving them to? That person? If, I'll give you an example. This cannot leave this room. It cannot leave this room. Okay? It cannot leave this room. Yeah, probably need to pause.